BAE talk, where the babes be talk. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
Gold on.
No, we gotta unite. We have to. We all, I mean, if for any white people listening, if you an ally, you cool. We appreciate
Gang.
gang. Well, I guess we could switch scopes now and talk about, this will be our BAE Talk of the day, BAE Talk topic. It reads. So for BAE Talk, so the question I have is, when you say you love someone, does that mean you're in love with that person, or do you just have love for them? And is there a difference between being in love and loving someone? Gary, what you think?
It's definitely a difference. Definitely a difference. I believe in that situation, transparency is the key. You got to be definitely clear on which one you're using. But I think it's a difference. I think the difference is, I know I've started getting, the older I become, and we losing so many people, and I don't feel like we pour enough. We don't nurture our friendships as much. You know what I'm saying? So I like to start telling my friends, like, I love them. And even with my female friends, I'm like, hey, but not in a romantic way, but I love you, dog. Like, I want you to feel appreciated. These are your flowers. I do value your friendship and time and conversation. So I think, but I have to do that statement every time, because I feel like every time I say it, somebody gonna think that I'm in love. I got the googly eyes, so I gotta be like, hey.
You gotta be like, hey, not like that.
Not that way, but yeah, I think it's a difference. I think that is the difference. I think in love, I don't know. In love to me is more like an action. Loving a person is more of a
feeling.
A feeling. I had another big word I was gonna use that, but I lost
hit
it.
me with it.
So I was on my TI thing real quick. I was gonna give you some big.
Come on now. I would have popped it up all at the bottom too, and it gave it.
Word of the day is. But no, but I think it's a difference though. I think and when people say it to you, you gotta ask them, like, what do you mean by this? Because you could be dating a person, they could say I love you, but are they in love with you, or are they just have love for you?
Okay, so that's my question, is if they have love for you versus being in love with you, in your opinion, both of y'all, should they even be saying I love you if it's not like in love and you're in that dating scenario? Because for me personally, I don't want you going, Samantha, I love you, when you just got love for me. I want you to be in love with me when you say that you love me, because that's what I'm going to do with you. So is that,
I agree with you. I think that in a situation where you're dating, getting to know a person, the L-bomb should probably be off limits until you actually feel that in love feeling for a person, because it's too easy to get confused.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be kind of misleading. Like, oh, I love you, and I'm just saying I love you as a person, and I care about your well-being. But you took it as I feel for you, and now you probably gonna start saying it back like you feel for me, but I didn't mean it that way, and I'm not ready to go there. But so now it's confusion. So you probably should leave it off the table until y'all get to the level of love. Then you could talk about, I loved you back then, but I didn't want to say nothing.
Right. That's fair. I feel like that's how it should be. Because I think, I'm gonna say players, because not all guys do this, but players, like, early on, they be like, I love you, girl. It's like, do you really?
Do you really?
Because I don't even love you. And normally women are kind of, at least in my experience, they're the first ones to be like, oh my God, I love this guy. I'm gonna marry her husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the first to feel that. It takes men longer. So if the woman doesn't already feel that, it's slim chances that the man is truly in love with you. Just don't be throwing it around, like,
don't play with it, and don't joke about it, because
I feel like that term is used loosely a lot of the time, the word love. And I feel like there is a difference, because I've been in like relationships where, like, maybe at one point I was in love with them. I'm like, oh, can't see a life without you. You're great. You're whatever. But then things happen. I'm like, ooh, like, I got love for you, but.
So can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. At that point when that changed, did you stop telling them that you love them, or did you continue?
Oh. I mean, I continue to say it because, like, I do love you.
You
It's
still
just
think you love him.
Right.
but I don't.
Ooh, she
Yeah,
gonna be
I
here
still
forever.
love you, but I'm not in love with you. And I feel like in the past relationships I've had, like, we may say that, like, I'm in love with you. Like, it's not something you continuously, like, say. So it's like you mention it, like, yeah, I'm in love with you. Oh, okay, cool. And then we just, this whole, I love you. Okay, yeah, have a nice, have a nice day. Good night. Love you. Like, that's about
But
it.
I love you, but I'm not in love with you. I think it's more of a bigger insult than anything else.
I would say so.
I don't
Yeah.
think I guess I don't look at it as an insult because I'm like, it's how I feel. Like,
So if you dating a guy,
mhm,
y'all vibing, it's strong, it's
Yeah.
real good,
Uh-huh.
and then all of a sudden, you like, I think I'm gonna tell him I love him, and he'd be like, hey, I love you too, but I'm not in love with you. Wouldn't that feel like a little bit like, damn, like a damper? You know what I mean?
I know for me it would.
Yeah. I'd be like, what are we doing?
that's kind of like you saying I love you to someone and they don't even say it back.
I mean, that's essentially what they're saying.
Yeah.
In so many words, they've made it where it doesn't sound that terrible. It's just sitting in silence or being like, oh, that's nice. But
Like, that's cool. Like, I love you. Me too.
Right on.
Right on.
Right.
That's great. Like, if it was a scenario like that, I'm like, damn, like, okay. But if it's like, he says, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, who am I to tell you, like, feel some type of way about your feeling? That's just how you feel. Like, you're just
but
not
I don't
in love
want to
with
hear
you.
it unless you are there.
Yes.
Here, I love you.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've had that done. So, I mean, but we never really go into the whole in-depth thing of like, oh, but are you in love with me? It's just like they say it, I say it back, we move on.
What do you think it means though when they say it?
I love you. I mean,
So you assume because there's no conversation that their I love you means that they're in love with you. But what if they just got love for you and you misunderstood because there's never a conversation?
maybe I don't know how I'd feel because in the situations that I was in when that word was used, we were living together. Like, we've been together. So I guess I probably in my mind assumed that it was like, I'm in love with you because I mean, we already here, we're doing this whole thing. Like, we in here, we good.
What if they just felt obligated because of all of those things to say it?
Damn, they just tell me. They just say that. I guess for me, I'm like a very open person. Like, I'm understanding. So even if someone were to tell me I love you, which, okay, I've had this happen. They say like, Janae, I love you. I still love you. I'm like, I got love for you. But that is all. Like, I don't tell them I love you too. I'm like, I have love for you. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and like, yeah, I still love you too. I don't know. Yeah. Whoever you are, don't watch this.
Right.
I mean, if they get here, it's too late.
Hopefully you logged off by now.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess me personally, I wouldn't be offended by it. I think it depends on their delivery and how it's said and like where we are in our relationship if they say it.
For me, love is such a deep and personal thing. I think you said earlier, Gary, you shouldn't play with it. And so
Yeah.
I don't want to hear I love you unless you truly mean it, unless you're going to continue. Because hopefully up to that point, you've already been exhibiting that love in the form of action. So that's going to have to continue. Like, it shouldn't just be like, oh, I love you. And,
I've said it.
And now
that is all. There we go.
Yeah.
Like, it needs to be something that's continually acted out. So if you
and men will use that too as a form of being like, I love her. I'm gonna say I love her because we know it's gonna make a woman heart melt. We know it's gonna prick at some of the feelings and emotions, and we're gonna be like, I'm gonna say it just to see what she's gonna do. You know, so like a lot of men use that as a tool to like get a woman to open up, like to get her to finally let that wall down. And they do it in the wrong manner, and then you stuck with it at the end. Like, I didn't mean that. I mean, I had love for you. But yeah, we suck sometimes. Like, we kind of trash.
You know what? I wasn't gonna be the one to say it.
I mean,
I'm not a man basher.
Women are too.
There people.
I can be one of those women. That's why I'm saying that. Otherwise, I'll be like, nah,
savage.
Nah, but people in general sometimes are just.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they're trash.
Everyone has their downfalls.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
depends on how now, if you're doing it to be manipulative, like he said, like you're just saying it to try to get more out of that person and to, pull on their heartstrings, that makes you trash.
Right.
But if it's just honestly just not how you feel,
that's different.
You can't help that. That's just how you just don't, you're not there yet. And who's to say that just because they're not in love with you at that moment, they wouldn't eventually get there?
But let me ask this, like in today's society, when vocabulary means nothing anymore, like what does love mean?
What does love have to do with it?
Like, that's what I'm saying. I remember like before I got married, people used to be like, hey boo. I'm like, damn, I'm a boo. And then I found out that the boo is for everybody.
Hey. Yeah.
Yeah, boo is for everybody, bae is for everybody. I'm like, ain't nothing special about me.
Yeah. Them good morning texts don't mean the same.
Yeah.
It's copy and paste for like 15 other people.
To answer your question, I think in any ways, I'm kind of like this, but words don't matter as much as actions do. So you can boo baby good morning me all day long, but the conversation we have, the way you treat me, the way you talk about me to others, those are actions that at some point, if I don't witness firsthand, will come back to me. And that's how I'll know how you truly feel about me, whether we're talking about romantically or friendships. Like I've heard, like whenever we all get in conversations, like, oh yeah, I heard Janae was telling me the other day, and based on how she, worded that and painted a picture of me to somebody else, that's how I know how she truly feels about me. When people talk about you behind your back, eventually it's gonna come around to you, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And so, those are like, people can decide how they're going to talk about you, and that takes actual thought and application to be able to decide, like, even though this is a bad situation, I'm frustrated with her as my friend, I'm still not going to be like, man, this bitch, da-da-da-da-da. Like, I'm still going to treat her as if she's my friend. I'm be like, yo, Janae got on my nerves. And let me tell you why. I love her to death. But that's different than this bitch, she did this and she did that and she can da-da-da. Like, that's also an action. Words can also be an action. And how people share those words about you, that's different. And so I think you have to, because men have done this to me. Baby, I love you. I want you to be my wife. You mean the world to me. And I'll wait for you to be ready and da-da-da-da. And then it's like, okay, what does that look like? So I watch for the next week, 2 weeks, month, 2 months, whatever. And you barely talk to me. You barely call me. When we do talk, you just want to talk about yourself. You don't care how I've been doing since we talked last. You got all these excuses for why we haven't talked or why you're always late for things that you arranged for us. And those actions, I'm like, you don't have any kind of love for me. You don't want me to be your woman. You don't actually value the time we spend together, because if you did, you would make those things when you have time a priority. We're all busy people. Prior to COVID, we were all busy people, right? But if I take time out of my schedule to spend an hour with you getting, I don't know, coffee, tea, grab lunch, go grab cookies or ice cream or something, if I've taken that time out of my day to spend with you, you mean something to me. That's how I look at it. And so if you can't even take the time to call me and be like, hey, baby, I'm going to be busy tonight. I just wanted to hear your voice. I want to talk to you, see how you was doing right quick. And if I'm not exhausted when I get home later, I'll call you then. That means more to me than like, oh, I want you to be my woman forever and ever and always.
People make time for who they want to make time for. Yeah. If you're a priority and you are someone they want in their life, they'll make time for you. Exactly. And if not, then you just ain't on a priority list. They got a whole list of things and you just not the top five. There. You're just not. So
let me ask.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, go right ahead, because I'm probably going to switch to something else.
Okay. But yeah, it's definitely in the actions, and I feel like sometimes maybe it's just me, but there have been scenarios or situations for me where it gets confusing, where sometimes the words and actions don't match, and sometimes the actions show for X amount of time versus the words. So it's for me, it sometimes gets jumbled, because then I'm like, are you actually being genuine about what you're saying and doing? Are you just doing this for the time being? And then when you see me starting to feel like I'm fading away or I'm ready to be done with the situation, you come back and act right. Like, for me, it kind of starts to get confusing at times, but it's definitely a consistency in actions and words that have meaning and hold water more than just you just,
Consistency. That was the key word that you said.
Consistency.
Yep.
But I feel like that's not a thing anymore.
Consistency, transparency, communication.
It's hard to find because people, like you said, people will say stuff and do stuff just to, they have like a hidden agenda just to give.
People don't realize how much stuff you'll be cool with if you're just honest about it. Like, we don't have to be booed up and hugged up, and like, if you like, hey, I just want to hit the movie sometime, get dinner sometime, mess around a little bit sometime, you know, so many people will be cool with it. Yeah.
Like, everybody wants companionship, and if you're honest with how you want that at that point in your life, then you might find somebody who's like, me too. Let's be
each other's companion until Holiday. I love that movie.
It was a good movie, but that was kind of the same thing. They were like, for holidays, you're my date all the time.
And they set their boundaries until their boundaries got a little
That's the movie on Netflix, right?
Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Like, I would recommend it if it was it's a good little movie. It's
I've been on my holiday stuff. I watched Jingle Jangle the other day.
Hey, Jingle Jangle.
Jingle Jangle lit. I like it.
It's lit. The songs, the act, like I keep calling it Bojangles, but it's
the quality of it really shocked me because I'm like, this is Disney Pixar quality movie.
Yep.
It's not from those big studios.
Yep. It's a really, I like all the songs. Like,
they had a stellar cast though.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. It was fire. What was you gonna switch it to, Gary?
My bad. I ain't gonna drive the boat for your show though.
No,
I just had a question.
Switch it up. Come on.
Did y'all see the clip from the Kevin Samuel show?
I don't know who that is.
Kevin Samuel is just like an entrepreneur, but he got like a little podcast, whatever, black guy, older guy. But he had a young lady come on his show earlier this week that was like she was looking for a six-figure man and couldn't understand.
Okay, keep going. I think I've seen. I didn't watch the clip, but I saw like the little blurb about it, I think.
So it was a young lady. She was saying she was having troubles with finding a six-figure man. That's what she desired, and she asked him for his advice, and he was like, he was like, "What do you rate yourself?" And the young lady was like, she rated herself like a 5 when she wake up and a 6 when she put herself together, and he was like, "You don't qualify." He was like, basically, you don't qualify because six-figure men aren't looking for average women. And so it was a big debate, and he kind of was telling how she was average and how she needed to date an average man and what was wrong with dating an average man. He was like, ma'am, he was like, you're 35. He was like, that's older for a six-figure man, a six-figure older man. And she was like, well, I got this nice body and my body like this. And she was like, well, I think older guys wouldn't want to date, younger women wouldn't want to date older guys. So that's where I come in. And he's like, shit, he's like, bullshit. He's like, I'm 51. I can't keep them young hoes off me. You know what I'm saying? And so, like.
Okay, Zaddy.
Not the young hoes. Not the young tenderoni.
So he was like, he was just like, man, he's like, you're 35. He was like, so you're on the older end of the spectrum. He was like, you have a 13-year-old son. He was like, you got a messed up baby daddy situation. He was like, and he's like, you've only been making 6 figures for the last 3 years with your pet grooming business. He was like, so why do you feel that you qualify for a 6-figure man? And he was like, and you just an average woman. He was like, man, don't make me say it. He was like, but you're average at best. He was like, and she wouldn't take the advice that he was giving. He was like, you just not listening to me. He's like, you keep trying to say but. You keep trying to say but you're not processing what I'm saying. He was like, fuck it. He was like, the truth is, ma'am, you're going to die alone. And like, he fought, man. And she was like, you being so mean. He's like, I hate when women say I'm being mean when I'm telling you the truth. You asked me a question. I'm telling you the truth. You don't want to accept it. And now you're saying that I'm being mean.
I mean, he did say it
he was polite
about it at first. See, but this goes back to when you're saying it more than once. He said, shit. Eventually, he's like, man, fuck it. Let me just tell you. I mean, that wasn't exactly, I don't want to say, it was straightforward. It was pretty blunt.
Yeah.
But
I put it on my page, like, do you think this is harsh or was it cool? And some people said harsh. Some people said they thought it was on point, but.
So my dad used to tell me when I was younger, because I would ask him certain things and be upset with his response, and he'd be like, "If you don't want the truth, don't ask me."
Yep.
So you have to, when you ask anybody a question, be prepared for whatever truth is about to come out of their mouth.
Yeah.
If you're not prepared to receive that, keep your mouth shut and don't ask that person that question.
Ask.
Because if
Yeah.
you're not in a place to receive, period, you're not going to take that coming from anybody, your best friend, your mama, or a stranger.
Yep.
So if she asked and then continue to be like, no, but, ma'am, you asked this question.
Yeah.
So his response to you is how he feels. And that may or may not be true. Time will only tell. But at the end of the day, you asked him his thoughts on your situation.
Yep.
And he gave you that with ample things to back up why he felt the way he felt. So,
I mean, and it's all up to you and your self-esteem, but you already automatically rated yourself
average.
as an average woman.
Average. Who does that?
Who would say that? Like,
most people be like, I'm a 10.
I'm a 10, or I'm an 8 at best. I'm a 9. Like,
right.
But she said, nah, I'm a 5 when I wake up and a 6 when I fix myself up. Like, you already.
And a 6. Like you. So you spent hours in the bathroom and only come out as a 6?
To come out a 6. So like, you
Wow.
already showed where you set yourself. You already set yourself down.
Like you don't present yourself like a 6-figure woman looking for a 6-figure man.
Yep.
Yeah, and she kept talking about her body. She's like, I'm a size 3, and but my body, and I'm a 5, but my body, and it's like why are you selling yourself like that?
And that will only hold a man for so long.
Exactly.
Like, yes, okay, you bomb sex and all that, your body's banging, but how are you? Like, what do you like? Yep. And I don't know, Gary, you tell me. Do men care about whether your woman just looks average or if she's like a 10, or is that anything that y'all pay a lot of attention to, especially like when looking for a wife?
I think men are physical. You like me, I'm a little. So I always, like, I tell my homeboys this, like, we all want a dime, we all want a perfect 10. But if you're not a perfect 10, you got to have a bit of a sliding scale. You got to take a fine 7 sometimes, or you got to take a fine 6. And if you look up and get a 10, you just look up and get a 10. Like, right. I had a homeboy like that before. He was real big, wasn't in shape, slept with a CPAP machine, didn't have a lot of money. I said, but he was like, she got to have this kind of hourglass figure. I wanted to have her, but not too much weave, not too much. I'm like, bro, you're not gonna find her.
For too much.
Yeah, like you can find a cute 7. She can get to a 7 and she can dress the rest of it up. But I think a lot of guys are physical. I don't think that's gonna get you married though. Like, despite what everybody think, they think men are physical. We all about sex and this and that. Men actually marry off of loyalty. Like we look at who there for us when nobody was in my corner, who held me down, when that one time I got locked up, who came bail me out, the one time when my family turned their back on me, I lost my friends, who was there for me, that woman.
I feel like that's not necessarily true. I feel like those are the girls that gotta like crawl through the mud and sewers, and they gotta help, like they said, like Gucci Mane and what's her name, Keisha Kior, like all them rappers, like the ones who have that loyal female with them from before they had money, but those are the ones that get dogged out the most. And even regularly,
they go through it, but that's because that's just us as men. It's a transition period for us. Like me, I was totally trash before 30. Like,
totally
a lot of
trash.
People
say that.
A lot of people say that. So it's like a lot of times, like for us, the 20s is an extended teenage period. So we still playing. We like, now I finally got a place. I'm gonna play even more. Now I'm finally making some money. I'm gonna play a little harder. I got the car I wanted. Now I'm gonna play a little more. And then when you get somewhere around 30, you start to be like, this is kind of old. Like, I done did this before, and I want to build something. And so that's me. Before 30, I was trash. I used to be a bouncer at a club part-time, and I did a lot of trash activity. And I probably I didn't meet my wife till I probably got about 33, 34. So all them years between, it was karma. Like, every situation I was trying to date people in Dallas, they was playing me dirty, man. So I think like that's men though. I think we finally get older, get a little wiser, and we be like, you know what? She the one, because she held me down through my bullshit. When I wasn't the best me, she accepted me. So I deserve to give her the best me now.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I think what the guy was saying about the lady wanting a 6-figure man, I think she could possibly find one, but I do think he got a point. Like if you're a woman coming into a situation, a person period with a lot of baggage, you got to understand that your value is a little lower. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing against nobody, but if you're looking for a high tier man, high tier woman, you know what I'm saying, and we got some little flaws ourselves, you know, it's like she said she wanted a 6-figure man. So you mean to tell me what the average salary of most people is averagely about $40,000? So everybody from 40,000 to 90,000 is trash? Like, what about his heart? What about his personality? Right. What about his spirit? Like, that's out the window because he not at 100,000 plus.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I have a similar conversation that I've been having continually with one of my younger cousins, and her aspirations right now in life, she's only 19, so she got a lot of living left to do, but her aspirations are like once she graduates, she wants to get her own spot and she wants to marry rich. Now she hasn't set the tone at 6-figure man like this woman has, but right, because we have conversations all the time and I'm like, number one, a man that is a 6-figure man or rich by her standards, whatever that looks like, he has gotten that way because he knows how to manage money. He has self-control. There are a lot of other things that come along with being rich, wealthy, whatever that looks like to anybody, because it's all different for all of us at a certain point. And so I told her, if that is something that you aspire to have, you have to start building that now, because that rich, wealthy man to you is not going to want someone who's going to spend his paycheck as soon as he bring it home.
Yeah.
So if you become an expert at spending $100,000 in 5 minutes, they going to leave you because they trying to keep the money they got. Now they're going to live a comfortable lifestyle, but that doesn't mean you need to be out every day whining and dining your friends or, you know, jet setting, all kinds of stuff. You have to bring something to the table as well. Exactly. And money management is going to be one of those things. So like you can't be out here just expecting to marry well and have a comfortable lifestyle if you don't know how to maintain that. And so
man, that's so true.
It just it's crazy to me because people just think they just gonna come by a rich man and he gonna be like, yeah, boo, you cute, you got a nice body.
Yeah, I'm gonna just give you money.
You got pretty skin, gorgeous hair. You my wife.
But I think it's reality TV and movies stuff like that set the incorrect expectation. Because like Real Housewives of Atlanta or all them Real Housewives, Basketball Wives, all them shows, they make you think that basically you just be real beautiful, have a nice body, and
they're not even all real beautiful.
And a lot of them, like you just seeing end goal. I mean, you just seeing the finish line. A lot of them been with them for forever, and
they
put up with all the dirt and scandals and stuff over the years. But that is something that like I hear a lot of young girls that say that they want to marry a rich dude or they want a dude gonna take care of them. And I just don't feel. I don't know. Maybe it's where I'm from. I don't feel it. Like I feel like always secure the bag for yourself.
That's how I feel. Because just in case y'all ever break up or he decide to leave you for somebody younger, somebody better, prettier, whatever, because there's a possibility of that happening, you need to be able to have something for yourself other than, I'm just going to sue him and get some of his money so I can continue to live this lavish life that I've been living with him. Yeah. Like you should want more for yourself and not just depend on somebody else to give you and make you a life.
Even like with rich guys, rich guys ain't chasing nobody down. They kind of have everything delivered to them. So they not going out of their way to have to court you and you ain't got nothing to bring to the table or you not exactly what they want or, she kind of cute, but she don't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys are calculated men. And if they dating you definitely gonna peak what they want. And if they feel like you too much of a challenge, they'll just throw you to the side and get somebody new.
Somebody else who's easier.